Welcome to Scooby-Doo, Legend of the Podcast. I'm your host, Mariah.
And I'm your host, Ashton. And today we will be discussing Chapter 2, The Sludge Monster from the Earth's Core. Okay, so today we are going to be continuing our timeline, continuing our discussion with another episode of A Pup Named Scooby-Doo. This is episode 2, again titled The Sludge Monster from the Earth's Core. Before we jump in, what was your thoughts for this episode?
Well,
Ash, I'm glad you
I'm
asked.
so glad you asked. Immediately I thought it was interesting from episode 1 because it's nighttime in Coolsville this round.
Oh, yeah, I didn't put that down.
Yeah, Shaggy was like, he's like, it's like Coolsville. Wait, no, wait.
No way, it's Coolsville?
He said, it's like nighttime in Coolsville. And yeah, so it was kind of a different
We got a new dynamic, yeah.
Yeah, that's the word. Like they're trying to solve it at nighttime.
So they are still in Coolsville. We are at Shaggy's house still. That's where we start the episodes, at Shaggy's house.
Yeah, again.
His house still has the Christmas decorations and Christmas lights up.
Yeah, and it's still the only one that I can tell.
Of the neighborhood. Yeah, so we start at Shaggy's house. They are getting a midnight snack of a huge bowl of popcorn, watching late night news for whatever reason.
Yeah, you gotta get the news in before you go to bed.
So I guess we'll just jump into Shaggy and Scooby. So yeah, Shaggy and Scooby are watching the news. And this is basically where we get the premise for the episode. Basically, there is a sludge monster that has robbed the last national bank. And
yeah, there was the key witness was actually the bank janitor who said he came in to clean and the vault was open and he saw this horrible monster stealing all the money.
So I guess before we technically get to Scooby and Shaggy, something about the newscaster is he can just pull himself out of the television set.
Yeah, it was really dramatized. And,
yeah.
I
mean, I know this is a cartoon, but I just thought that was funny. He's just like, you kids, go to bed! And he's pointing at him.
Yeah. And then when it was the news of the bank robbery, he was like, don't turn that dial.
Yeah.
The TV. Kind of talking directly to them.
So Scooby and Shaggy, they, are like, good thing we don't have to worry about it, and basically go to bed. Something I noted is that Scooby doesn't sleep inside the house with Shaggy. He has a doghouse, and he actually goes out there to sleep. I just thought that was interesting. I thought Scooby would have been like, no way, Jose, am I not sleeping in your room?
Yeah, and then it's actually when he goes out to his doghouse that he finds the sludge monster in his doghouse.
So this is the second time Scooby has seen the monster first. I don't know if this is something that will carry on throughout each episode, but I just find that interesting because then the rest of the gang are are we sure there's really a monster?
Yeah, he kind of has to try to convince them.
Yeah.
So far.
So after, Scooby sees the monster, he runs back inside to Shaggy's house. Something I noted, and I don't know why, it's just a little detail that I appreciated. Shaggy's getting ready for bed. He's brushing his teeth he's being a good little boy.
Yeah, and he's got a big bathroom. And
oh, yes. He's got his PJs on, which he has a green shirt, green pants. So, just staying true to his character's wardrobe.
Yeah, all the characters kind of had fun pajamas. I think Fred had a robe.
Fred had a robe.
So
Daphne had a robe. And Velma had a onesie.
Yeah, a cute little purple onesie.
Which I'm surprised hers was purple. I mean, it's giving her a good dynamic of color. Daphne's was the color of her outfit, which is kind of a weird pink.
Yeah, like a pastel pink.
Uh-huh. And Fred's was blue. So, after Scooby's like, oh no, help, Shaggy, there's a monster. Shaggy's like, okay, let's call the rest of the crew. So, at night, which, I mean, loyal friends, they're all getting ready for bed. Maybe they were asleep. some of them. But they still come to Shaggy's house to come help him investigate this monster that's haunting Scooby's house. So yeah, the rest of the gang come and they're kind of searching around Scooby's doghouse, not inside, just around outside. I put that Fred is ready to take on a mystery no matter the time.
Yeah, he was like, let's solve this.
And Daphne was like, can't I wait till morning? I need my beauty rest. And then she's all, well, she pulls out a mirror and she's like, maybe I don't.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. One thing I thought was interesting too is Fred said, well, gang, looks like we have a monster mystery to solve. So he said gang.
Oh, he said gang?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it was the first.
Huh. I kept putting crew. Wow. Look at that. Episode 2, and they're a gang now.
Yeah, he said it another time a little later. I don't remember the exact.
Wow, I didn't catch on to that. Okay, so Fred is now considering them a gang. I wonder if he'll kind of switch between crew and gang, or if it's just like, now it's gang. I don't know. Yeah, so then Fred's like, I know who it is, and takes them to Red Herring's house. He actually, like, gets the gang to pile up on each other, like sitting on each other's shoulders, and Fred's at the top, pounding on Red Herring's window, wakes Red up, and Red says, like, you woke me up. What do you need?
Yeah, which he says, Fred's like, why else would you be awake at 3 a.m?
Oh, he said a time of day. Wow.
Yeah.
I missed little details.
So it was, of course he could have been exaggerating, but it was late in the night, so.
Why are these parents
I know
not watching their kids?
Well, because later on, even Shaggy's dad comes out, and he's not even like, why?
Yeah.
He's not even like, why aren't you guys asleep? He's like, let me handle it.
Yeah, we meet Shaggy's dad eventually in this episode. Yeah, so Fred calls out Red, and Red's like, what's not me? Go to bed and let me go to bed.
Yeah, he slams the window on him.
So then Fred suggests that they go inside Scooby's doghouse. Scooby's like, no, the monster's in there. And Daphne has the Scooby Snacks again. Bribes Scooby with 3 Scooby Snacks, I believe it was.
Yeah, 3.
And to get Scooby to go inside. But then, like, once they got Scooby on board, Daphne's all, I don't want to go in there. A doghouse, it's probably gross and
the worst of
dust.
all, it could have dust.
Yeah, she's disgusted by dust. But then once they get inside, she digs the doghouse and says it's almost as nice as her mansion.
Yeah, almost. Which, to be fair, Scooby's doghouse was pretty big.
Like, yeah.
There was, like, a corridor into, like, the main entrance, and there was, like...
There were stairs.
Yeah, was there a fountain?
Mm-hmm.
There was, like... It was fancy in there.
So, like, yeah, this isn't just, like, a doghouse. No, it is, just this huge house. Not sure how many rooms. Not sure how many... Like, what different rooms there are. We did see, like, a library at one point.
Oh, yeah.
The janitor actually appears in the house at some point too, and he's like, yo, nice place. Let me know if you need a janitor. Fred suggests that they split up, but this time he really means it. Or no, last time he said, let's stick together, and then he's like, okay, let's split up, but.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this time he's like, okay, let's split up.
One thing I thought was it was just a little moment, but I thought it was kind of funny was, at some point, Fred and Daphne think that they see the monster because it's like a
silhouette.
It's
shadow.
like a something. And then so Fred, he hid behind Daphne and was like, "Oh no, it's the monster." I thought that was kind of funny that he used her as a human shield.
Which, speaking of Daphne, something I had for her too. First of all, she doesn't believe the monster is real at first. She even was like, Scooby, did you get us all up for nothing? This better be real. When they're going into Scooby's doghouse at one point, she's all, Scooby, can you get a bigger door? And she doesn't like crouching down. But what was funny, because we talked about Velma is the youngest, in the gang, but she is the shortest as well and doesn't have to crouch. She's the only one that doesn't have to crouch to go in the doghouse.
Yeah, this episode I really noticed the difference with Velma and the others, because she is smaller and looks... Well, she's also not as verbal, which kind of makes sense. Yeah. She's also younger, so...
With Scooby Snacks, with Daphne and Scooby Snacks, Daphne actually, again, she carries the Scooby Snacks, but she bribes Scooby twice in this episode.
Yeah.
With Scooby Snacks, not just once.
Yeah, the first time it was 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they're in his doghouse, like, in the basement, there's a giant hole in the basement. And she has to bribe the whole box to get him to go down in that creepy hole in their basement.
Well, so when they go down in that hole, it leads to the sewer, the Coolsville sewer, and when they're down there, she says that it's filled with cooties. She doesn't like cooties. And she thinks the sewer is full of them. Just random thing, I thought. While they're also down there, she gets sewer mud on her new robe.
Oh, yeah.
And they have to stop everything because she freaks out.
She also, I mean, again, last time she didn't believe in the ghost, and this time she thinks Scooby imagined the monster. She believes it was the janitor who was guilty because he had a key to the vault.
Mm-hmm. Which everyone kind of believed it was the janitor. The bank president did. The police were kind of leading on to it being the janitor.
Yeah, Fred did believe that too.
Mm-hmm.
At some point. Although Velma, she's very quiet, but you can notice that she will have her magnifying glass and look at all the clues.
Yeah, she had her magnifying glass this episode. And, like, whenever there was, like, a suspect, she's, like, circling them with her magnifying glass, and they're not even noticing her.
Yeah, she is very...
thorough.
Yeah, thorough. She's very thorough.
She says jinkies, and that's what gets the gang to stop this episode and be like, oh, she said a word. Like,
yeah,
she must know something or whatever.
That was when she found the muddy footprints.
Yes. So, something else I thought was kind of cute. Velma's a very cute character in this series.
Yeah, she really is.
If you notice her animation, when they're walking, she has, like, the animation, like, her feet are, like,
yeah, it's just like a blur.
Yeah.
It's not really distinctive that you can see the legs walking. Just a little blur, like a cartoon running.
Yeah, almost like she was running, but while the rest of the gang are just taking, normal steps, so she has to take more steps, and that's because, she's shorter. She's got smaller legs. She finds sewer mud in Scooby's doghouse, I put down.
Which she pulls out a microscope of, one of her many tools to inspect it and figure out that it's sewer mud.
We said she's in a onesie, but I also put that Velma actually comes up with a plan. Basically kind of comes up with a trap to catch the monster, not Fred.
Yeah, because while they're in the basement, they discover all these bags of coins, the stolen money. And like you said, she decided to come up with a plan where she led a trail of money to try and catch the monster.
Something else, this is kind of for Velma and Fred. I don't know if it was ever said in the previous episode, but I just noticed it in this episode. Velma reveals that Fred's full name is Freddy. She calls him Freddy at one point.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Something else that kind of starts to become a trope that started in this episode, at least, that we've seen, is Scooby and Shaggy disguise themselves as something else to trick the monster. They disguise themselves as bank tellers to, get the monster to basically be confused and distracted.
They're like, do you want to open up an account with us?
You get all of this if you open with us.
Yeah, a whole bit.
So, also, there's a romp in this episode, but it's kind of split into 2 parts. The first time being in Scooby's doghouse, just with Scooby and Shaggy, and twice while they're running during that sequence, they have to stop to catch their breath, which, is probably just a gag type of thing, but I kind of thought it kind of played more on that they were kids, because, kids, are more apt to be like, okay, I gotta stop and catch a breather than like, an adult. I feel like, they're like,
Yeah.
okay, hold up, we gotta stop. And
Yeah.
the next time the romp continues, it is the rest of the gang, and it started in the bank, but then it more took place in the sewer. They were kind of all in different boats and whatever, rowing in the sewer trying to get away. And then something else for Shaggy is we learn he has a baby sister. So he has one sibling, and he is the older one.
Yeah, they all, well, this might have been obvious, but he has a dad who we actually see.
Yes,
he
we don't get a
mentions-
name though yet.
Yeah, and his dad's a cop.
Yes.
He was working on the case of the robbery.
Yeah, his dad's like, your mother's gonna have a cow. Go to bed.
Yeah, so I know he has a dad, a mom, and a baby sister.
Yes, we again don't know any of the names of the baby sister, of the mom, or dad. Just know we kind of are putting together Shaggy's family now. Again, Shaggy's dad wants all of the gang to go home and go to bed and leave it to them. We do see the chief of police, but I don't think we ever got a name for him. But
Yeah,
that was just a random side note. We also meet Mr. Buxton, who is the president of the last national bank. And like we said, he believes it's the janitor that is the monster.
Yeah, he comes up and he's like, "Did you catch the janitor yet?"
Yeah. But then, plot twist, the monster, which I don't know if we ever said, well, I guess it's in the title. The monster is called the Sludge Monster from the Earth's core, but Mr. Buxton is the one behind the mask this time.
Yeah, and when they pull off the mask, it's like a little robot thing.
Yeah.
The controller inside.
I guess we never really described the monster, the villain this time. So he's basically like this purple,
bulbous creature.
He's got tentacles, he's got a claw. His eye is in the middle of his body, and his mouth is above his eye.
Yeah.
Where Mr. Buxton was sitting was basically within the eye. That's where he could see, So then, when they took it off, it's like the mouth came off, basically. But then it's like a robot type thing, so that's how he was controlling, the tentacles and the claw and whatever. It's another gross creature.
Yeah.
I don't think he ever talked as the monster, did he?
There was one time that I noticed where when Scooby and Shaggy were exploring their doghouse, or Scooby's doghouse, Shaggy was like, "Let's get some food because I'm hungry." And so they were snacking, and he asked Scooby if he wanted. I think it was like a peanut butter something pizza.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I wrote this down.
It was like a Shaggy snack, like a weird
a peanut butter potato chip pizza.
Yeah, he was asking if Scooby wanted it, and then it was like a growl or a noise, and then he was like, "Well, if you don't want it, you can just say no." I'm thinking it's Scooby, and then the monster comes up and is like, "No." So that's all I heard of him talking.
Mr. Buxton, he was he was stealing money basically from his own bank.
Yeah.
He was breaking into obviously the safes and going down through the sewers to steal the money, but he was using Scooby's doghouse as a hiding place for the money.
Which is why he was trying to scare them out of it.
Yeah.
Because they were going to blow his cover.
Catch on.
Well, the janitor also, at some point, comes in the doghouse.
Yeah.
Asking them what the sludge monster looks like, because he knows he's being framed, so he's trying to, find it to save his name.
Yeah, so he's trying to run and hide. He just leaves the doghouse though. He's like, "Oh, kids are in here. Bye."
Yeah.
Because that's when he was like, "If nice place. If you ever need a janitor, here's my card."
Oh yeah, that part.
Some other random things I put down. They have a late night snack, which I thought was really cute. They were just all kind of eating snacks while they were like discussing the clues that they have so far and whatever. It was just kind of a nice moment, see them just as kids chilling.
Yeah, Daphne had strawberries, Shaggy had an apple, Scooby had a ginormous sandwich.
Yeah. Like I said, the romp or the like musical chase scene was put into 2 parts. I thought that was interesting. It was the same song, just again put into 2 different times of the episode. Which when it first came out, I was like, oh, kind of early for the romp. But then again, it played later. And then something else I kind of said already too was that the trap was planned by Velma, but not Fred this time. Wow.
Red herring.
I didn't have anything. I just realized that. I'm like, wow, I didn't put anything down.
I mean, he wasn't really present except for when Fred came banging on his window. So he's always a scapegoat in Fred's mind.
That's really all the notes I have.
Yeah.
So the criminal's motive, like we said, he was stealing money from the bank, of his own bank, actually, which was kind of interesting. He was the president. I guess with him, with the criminal's motive, with Mr. Buxton and the Sludge Monster, could you see him or the Sludge Monster coming back ever?
I mean, I could see him probably a bit more.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I guess the last one was about money too, but...
That's what's interesting, is so far, both of these have dealt with money.
Yeah. Although this was real money. Like, it had gold coins, and it was from his own bank. Which I think is interesting. He was stealing from his own...
Uh-huh.
But I guess he wasn't making enough, because he wanted all of it.
So, yeah, that'd be interesting to see if we ever hear anything of him again.
Yeah, like Back for Revenge or something.
Or even just a little mention of like, oh, Mr. Buxton was released. Or I don't know. Or got even longer sentence.
News about him.
Yeah, so that's all the notes I have. Now we will talk about how this fits into our timeline. So again, this podcast, we are trying to fit all of the Scooby TV series and movies into one cohesive timeline. So obviously we are starting with a pup named Scooby-Doo, but again, not because they're kids. They just happen to be kids where we're starting. So this is the second episode, or the second chapter as we're calling it. I felt like we got a little more of what we had asked for from the previous episode, meaning we got a little more of Shaggy's background, like his family a little bit.
Yeah.
We didn't get specific names, but we can kind of hook a family tree, at least start to, with him. So I thought that was nice. We got a little more Shaggy family life, I guess you could say.
Yeah, a bit more to the picture.
I mean, it's only been 2 episodes, but I'm kind of like, okay, we've seen Shaggy's house twice now. Like, let's get someone else from the gang. Let's go to their house, see kind of what their home life is like.
Yeah, so far the mishaps have happened to either Scooby or Shaggy.
Yeah, which I mean makes sense because they're the main characters.
Yeah.
But I'm like, hopefully we can learn some more about the rest of the gang soon. I guess now from seeing this episode, what are you hoping to see? It's still kind of hard because we're still pretty early.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm just curious to see how the rest of this series goes. I don't have, like, certain expectations as of yet. Maybe I should, but...
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a fun series so far. I like the animation style, and I really like Velma. She's really...
Yes.
I like how quiet she is, because you really have to watch and pay attention. I think that's a cool aspect, so...
Yes, the feel of this series definitely, like, fits that they're kids and whatever. You know, it's a little over the top. It's very animated. I mean, obviously, but I think that's gonna be cool to see as they get older. They'll kind of deal with darker mysteries and more serious situations. I'm already surprised with what they're dealing with, like counterfeiting and bank robberies.
Yeah.
But I mean, we will, get more, what's the word, like, bigger mysteries in a way. We'll get, well, and they're kind of stuck in their hometown right now because they're kids. So we'll eventually, it'll be cool to see them venture out and get mysteries from all over. But
yeah, that'll be interesting to see where they go from here.
yes. Okay, so my Scooby Snack fact for this episode is this episode we actually learned that Shaggy's real first name is Norville, which I did not catch that.
Oh yeah, because his
His
dad
dad says Norville.
yeah.
So yeah, we now know that Shaggy, that's not his real
It's his
name.
nickname.
Yep. So I thought that was kind of an interesting thing, and it kind of helps put it into a timeline as well, because it's like, oh, now we've learned that his real name is Norville. Now we can go through the rest of the universe knowing that his real name's Norville, not Shaggy. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. First episode.
Yeah, I wonder if it'll ever come back into play.
It does quite a bit, actually.
Oh, okay.
The live action movie, there's kind of a whole joke about names. It's kind of a drug joke, but there's like the alien invaders when he meets a girl and she's all, what's your name? And he's all, Norville. And she's like, Norville? And he's like, well, everybody calls me Shaggy. And so she's like, oh, okay, cool, I'll call you that. So, I mean, it will come into play a few more times.
Okay.
So yeah, so that was interesting. Overall, did you enjoy this episode?
Yeah, overall, I thought it was fun. I really liked how they did it a night setting. Like, that just, I don't know, that made me really excited because right from the get-go, it was like, oh, it's nighttime. It's in the middle of the night. Yeah, I mean, it's a simple thing, but it was fun to see them in their pajamas. And
I'm excited to see their wardrobe evolve as they go. Like, yeah, we got to see their sleepwear now. Eventually, we'll see, like, their winter wear.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if their winter wear will be different when they're kids compared to when they're older. I wonder if we'll even see that when they're kids, their winter wear.
Yeah, true.
I wonder if we'll ever, like, get summer. Like, do they go to the beach at one point? I don't know. I mean, that's just a random thing. I'm kind of excited to see their wardrobe.
Their apparel, yeah. But overall, I really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was a cool story. And, sorry, it was so cool to, like, see inside Scooby's Doghouse.
Yes.
That was such, like, every kid wants to, like, I don't know, this doesn't make sense, but, like, having spaces, like, how do I describe it?
Well, you always, like, I mean, I know when I had big dogs, I go into, like, their dog houses, and it was, like, our little clubhouse type thing, And so, like, Scooby has this whole house in his dog house, and, like, him and Shaggy could just go chill in there.
Yeah, it's just a cool detail.
Yeah, this is my favorite episode of A Pup Named Scooby-Doo, partially because we do get to see Scooby's Doghouse, and I just love the fact, and that adds to this series where they walk into a doghouse and, oh, it's this huge mansion. But yeah, I loved that we got to kind of see where Scooby chills when he's not with the gang. He doesn't house anyone else, like he doesn't really have roommates or anything, so we haven't seen any of Scooby's family members yet.
Oh yeah, that's right. Just Scooby.
Just Scooby. Yep, he has all that room. Just Scooby. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But yeah, this is my favorite episode from A Pup Named Scooby-Doo.
I've only seen 2 so far, but I really enjoyed this one.
So, next... Oh, I didn't do that for last episode. Wow. Okay, so the next episode is going to be The Schnook Who Took My Comic Book, episode 4 of A Pup Named Scooby-Doo. So that's going to do it for this episode. If you would like to get in contact with us, you can find us on Twitter at SD Legend Podcast, and that is the same for our Instagram SD Legend Podcast. We also have an email if you would like to email us. It is sdlegendpodcast@gmail.com. If you would like to contact me personally, on Twitter I am at jazz820, on Instagram at smash_vlogs. I also have a YouTube channel where I do other Scooby related content, amongst many other things. You can kind of get to know me a little more personally through there. And that is, my channel is Smash. It is lowercase SM and then all uppercase ASH. You can search Ashton Hardy, and it should be relatively one of the first that pop up. And that's going to do it for this episode. So thank you all for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Again, thank you for bearing with us a little bit while we're kind of figuring out a format. If you have any suggestions, you can let us know. You can review us on Apple Podcasts. And if you would like to give us suggestions through there, that would be great. If you want to email us, again, any suggestions or what you like, again, you can email us. So yeah, that's going to do it for this episode.
Thanks for tuning in.